Welcome back to the Irish Mags Show. It is episode 103. I don't really have any comments about the number 103, but we are 103 episodes old, folks. My name is Paul. I'll be your host for this week, and the three amigos are back. We've had guests on, lads, the last few weeks, so we're back.
It's been great.
I was going to say, we're back on bad behavior now, having been on good behavior. having had Pete Graves, John Anderson, and of course Jonesy from the Belter Reavers. I think after what has transpired in the Newcastle United world in the last week, we need to do some therapy, just the three of us, lads. Safe place, Chris Show, even though, listeners, he is on the red wine, just to warn everybody. And he's looking, do you know what? He's looking a little bit less clean shaven than he normally is.
No,
I think Chris had a tough few days.
Honestly, I've had a tough few days. Honestly, I have. It's such bipolarism going on here with Newcastle, but we'll get into it.
We'll get into it. We absolutely will get into it. We are, of course, going to talk about that result in Marseille in the south of France. It all started so well. It did not finish well, having come in off the back of a pretty good performance against Man City. And we've not been potting since before Man City. So we might have a bit of a chat about what's going on there. I think we might delve into, lads, what's the situation in terms of tactics, in terms of selection, and use that to look ahead to Everton, because going by my social media feeds anyway, lads, and I'm sure yours are the same, there's a lot of, I want to say, negativity and a lot of the general commentary of, doesn't really matter, it's just going to be more of the same because nothing ever changes. So we might speculate what may change and what we'd like to see change. And you know what, lads? Because it's just the three of us, I've dug up a quiz. Just because it brightens Chris Show's mood to lose a quiz.
Absolutely.
Let's dive into it, lads. Marseille 2, Newcastle 1. Alan Williamson, were you out and about watching this game? And if you were like me, it was a game that started well. We had our intensity. We seemed to show we weren't afraid of the atmosphere, the hostility going on in what is a very intimidating, hostile environment in the Stade Velodrome. And then after about 7 minutes, it all started to gradually shift, and we didn't have to be in France to experience some deja vu. Newcastle United taking an early lead away from home and then seemingly deciding, that's enough of that. Come at us, see if you can break us down, and we're going to try and hold you for 85 minutes, which was asking a lot. What was your reaction, Al? Like, did you think, okay, we scored, we're looking strong here, we're in a good position, we're going to go ahead and win this game? Or did you have that in the back of your mind?
After the result on Sunday against City or Saturday against City, I was like, we're going to go for the jugular here. This will be 3-0 before halftime and we'll be able to cruise to victory. And we took our foot off the gas. I do not understand it. Marseille were absolutely there for the taking. We were poison. I like, that's up there on par with the Brentford and West Ham performances. Second half, we didn't lay a glove on them. It just nothing went right. The less said about what went wrong, the better in my eyes. Like Nick Pope, we've all said yes, we've all said no. I, honest to God, think it's time for Ramsdale to be given a chance. 3 of our last 5 games, Pope has made a mistake that has cost us the lead, and we've gone on to lose the game. Look, there was nothing he could do with the second goal. It was a well-worked goal, but the equaliser had their tails up. Once they got one, they were getting their second. It was inevitable. You could see it as soon as they got the equaliser, they were battering us. We didn't touch them. We didn't really miss any big chances. Like, it was very disappointing from how well we've been playing the Champions League to how poorly we played in the second half. It was just we've been given out about why are we so good in the Champions League and so bad in the Premier League. Well, this weekend it reverted. Like, we were brilliant in the league and terrible in the Champions League. I really, really don't understand what happened there. Look, there are many other points, but I'll let you have a little bit of a chat about it and I'll jump back in. But it was just so disappointing how poorly we played.
Yeah, and Christian, we'll talk about the selection, and particularly, I know you're secretly a big fan of Nick Pope, and anyone who's listened to this podcast knows that. We'll come to that, but just conceptually, Alan's mentioned it there about it flipped in terms of being poor in the Champions League and good in the league, but for me, it's just still home and away. Like, the whole thing seems to be generalized by, we're still playing well at home, we're getting riled up when we have our crowd cheering us on, or when we're playing in St. James's Park. away from home, we just, that's 3 times not only where we've lost, but we've taken a lead and then just not been able to do anything about it. Is this just down to mentality, or is it tactics? Is it a bit of both?
I don't think it's tactics. I don't think it's the players. I think like the lads against City, like I think when I saw them against Marseille, when Nick Pope made that mistake early doors, second half, they're emotionally wrecked. Tonali just decided to not play at all. Bruno was running around, fist bumping himself. But yet against Man City, the guys were all stars. They were the Newcastle that we know that they can play and be. And it's just something that I've been thinking about over the last couple of weeks about. And I said it when Pete Graves was on. Like the lads are getting themselves so riled up and so ready, and with the 12th man in St James's Park, and we can steamroll anybody. I don't care who we're playing. We can steamroll anybody at St James's Park. And then we go to a place where, there's still 3,000 or 2,000 fans there in the corner, but we're getting ourselves ahead. There's kind of a bump from the St James's Park game into the away game. We're playing well for the first, 15 minutes or something like that, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Get a goal. Great, excellent. And then, like I was saying, it just seems like it just drains out of them. And it did it again against Marseille. Marseille are a very average football team. They're like mid-table Premier League team. I mean, like Aubameyang's like what, 48 or whatever he is, 39 or 38 or whatever he is. Great finish, by the way. Really great. Both of them great finishes, right? But I just noticed, you could nearly physically see it on the TV. They just dropped. Every one of them kind of forgot what they were doing or panicked. Maybe I don't like to think that our players panicked, but when I saw Dan Burn kind of playing where he was playing against Marseille, I'm kind of thinking, look, loyalty might cost Eddie Howe his job. I know it's a big statement to make, but this Pope crack, this bringing Bernie in at left back, I know we can only work with the players we have, but we're leaving ourselves exposed. Elanga, terrible purchase, doesn't fit into the Newcastle United setup or style of play. He has no idea what he's doing. He doesn't know where he's playing up front. When he's playing on the right, he doesn't know how to cross the ball. He doesn't know how to pass. He doesn't know where to run. It's like as if he's put on a blindfold at the training sessions and put in headphones and he's not listening or seeing what's going on. But like Al said, it's just greatly disappointing, and it's not great for the fans' mental health because, in a sense, and I want to make a good point about this. I was on a super high against Man City, thinking, "Oh man, he's got it now. Okay, good. Bring Wissa back in. Once we have Hall and Tino playing, we really are something special. Do you know what I mean? This is fantastic." Then going up 1-0 against Marseille, you think, right, okay, these guys are on a roll now. Eddie's got right into them, great. And then we conceded, what was it, 4 minutes against Marseille? Did we concede 2 goals in 4 minutes?
2 goals in 4 minutes.
2 goals in 4 minutes, yeah.
4 minutes.
That is a lack of concentration. That is a mentality, Paul. That's a mentality. There's something within the squad where there's certain players within our team that don't believe that other players should be in the team. They don't believe Pope should be in the team. They can go on, Popey this, Popey that. Shouldn't be in the team. Dan Burn shouldn't be in the team. Elanga shouldn't be on the pitch. We should sell him back to Forest and get Anderson back.
I'm jumping in here. Now, hang on a minute. This is the exact conversation we had about Gordon's first 6 months for us. Elanga has yet to have 6 months with us.
All right, I'll give him another couple of months then and see what he can
You cannot just assume a player is going to hit the ground running every single time you sign someone. You have to give a player a bedding in time. Come here, if we're still having this conversation in 6 more months' time, yeah, 100% I'll agree. But you cannot write a player off after 6 months.
He's been pretty poor.
Oh, he has been poor. 100% agree with you. He's been poor. But talking like selling him, like first of all, PSR doesn't allow that. He's with us for the next 3 seasons minimum. It's just it is how it is. Unless someone comes in and offers 100 million for him, he's not going anywhere.
Jesus.
Anthony Gordon, the exact conversation we are having now. People were giving out, you were robbed. Everton robbed. Just did. Yeah, and now look at it. He's not playing well, but you can still get 75 million for Gordon. He's still an England international.
I've got it here. Saleable asset written in block capitals because
he's who's got all right on your saleable asset. He's not playing well at the minute. You're going to agree that, yeah? Who's going to buy him?
Liverpool, because they missed what's his name? They missed Diaz selling him to Bayern Munich, so they get somebody in like
they're going to pick Gordon over Semenyo. who they can get for 65 million.
I'm calling a ban on transfer talk until we hit the month of December, which is in 3 days' time.
Can we go, Paul? Paul, can we go back to the Gordon thing then? Because Gordon.
Well, let me talk. I suppose
shit.
just. I mean, I think we'll come back to Gordon because there's some good points to be made about Gordon in particular, positionally where he's playing and then who's around him. But even on the Elanga thing, I agree. Elanga he hasn't been great when we've seen him, but that's been in a lot of games where we weren't playing great either. You know, those away fixtures, or he's been brought on as a sub. And I think we're at this point, and this is where the theme of like selection for me, and it comes back to Eddie Howe, it comes back to call it loyalty, call it favorites, call it trust, call it a lack of risk taking. He doesn't seem willing to bed Elanga in by starting him and trying to get the best out of Elanga. He's more inclined to go, well, I know what I'll get with Jacob Murphy, rather than I'm not sure what I'll get with Elanga. What you could get from Elanga could be great and match winning and match changing. But he's more inclined to go, well, I know what I'm going to get from Jacob Murphy. He would run down the line, he will swing crosses in the box, and he'll work his arse off going back. The problem with that is no players out there play consistently brilliant every single game. And Murphy was actually in the first half against Marseille. Granted, he's playing as a wing back and a little bit out of position, even though he's done it loads. But he couldn't, his touch was poor. He was giving passes away, just those small basics. And I just think for me, Eddie Howe is hamstringing himself because his inclination to not take risks and just go at what he knows is actually preventing us from doing something different in the eyes of the opposition.
Yeah.
The majority of oppositions, even a team based in France, are not really panicked about how we're playing. They panicked for the first few minutes because that intensity worked. Problem is then we stopped. And this is where I'll come back to that mentality issue. We start a game, and we start a lot of games like we've nothing to lose. We went to Marseille and started that game like we'd nothing to lose. We started pressing like mad. We were playing off the atmosphere. That kind of us against the world thing helps. Then we go ahead like we did against Brentford and West Ham and whoever else. Yeah. And then as soon as we go ahead, we have something to lose. And it's almost like that activates in the players' minds. As soon as we're now 1-0 up, oh shit, we need to protect this. And that's when you can see that change to going from playing with nothing to lose to saying, oh shit, we don't want to lose this lead. That creates fear, and you can actually see them start to retreat into themselves and start to retreat as a unit. And suddenly we had a flat back five after 10 minutes, like when the ball is an open play. Like that's for me, it's like, okay, but that's inviting them on. And then, you know, because we had that flat back five and Murphy is down, is there as a right back. Because that's happening when there's not enough bodies either in the middle or in the half spaces. And suddenly Mason Greenwood, who, look, say we all know about Mason Greenwood, but he's seen this and he's gone, right, I'm not going to start belting down towards the corner flag. He actually starts dropping back and finding himself in loads of space. And then he starts pinging balls and suddenly we're shitting our pants. And all of that for me is an outcome of that inclination to step back, to sit deep, to retreat, rather than we've just scored after 5 minutes. We've silenced an entire stadium of ultra fans. They did not expect that. Fucking go at them again. Why, you know, like if we were able to start a game with nothing to lose, well, then we can continue playing like we've nothing to lose, at least until halftime. But 2-3 minutes after we scored that goal, straight away we just started to sit back. And, you know, all the WhatsApp groups, same thing. We've seen this before. And we have seen it before.
I'm gonna show my age here. It's kind of reminiscent of the last couple of years of Giovanni Trapattoni's reign as Ireland manager. We'd go 1-0 up and instantly it'd be back 5-4 in the middle and break us down. And invariably teams broke us down and they got their goals. And it's just, you said it, we went 1-0 up. Even if I had gone for the next 15 or 20 minutes and just gone hell for leather, I would rather see us concede a goal going for the game than have us conceding, sitting back, waiting for a team to break us down, because it's just not how we play, really. Like, we've grown up under the Kevin Keegan and we'll score one more than you mentality, and it's kind of how we want to play. But this sitting back when we go 1-0 up, it just doesn't suit us, I don't think. It is that we are hamstrung with the players that we have available, and fitness. I know lads will say Hall was fit enough to play. He wasn't. Let's just not go down that route. If Hall had played again.
He went off against City, didn't he? After 70
He went
minutes.
off after 70 minutes with cramp and said himself after the game, "I'm not fit enough to play a match." And you still have lads saying Hall should have played.
See, and this is where I think there's an opportunity. Yeah, I don't think Lewis Hall is starting. Lewis Hall is the answer, and a lot of people should have said, "Oh, he should have just started him if he's able to come on. He's able to start." There's a long game there. That's fine. But when we're suddenly 15, 20 minutes in, and granted we were breaking and threatening when we were getting on those counterattacks, but you can do that in multiple systems.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we start getting pinned in and we're dropping and we're 5 at the back and we're, everyone's sitting deep and then we can't get out, we just couldn't get the ball out of the box. I think that's an opportunity there to go, right, let's change things up. We need an extra body in there. Go back to a back 4. Byrne can go left back. That's fine. Mason Greenwood wasn't running those channels. So that's fine because he was playing on the right. Byrne can go left back. Tino can go right back. You've got Cher and Chow in the middle. Push Murphy on, and suddenly you've just got that extra body in midfield and some outlets on the wings. But we didn't have any of the outlets. We didn't have anywhere to put the ball, and we were trying to kind of do intricate pass in the middle and giving it away. And that's where I think after 20 minutes, after 30 minutes, a change should have been made because we were under so much pressure. Now, fair play, we got to half time. And maybe there was changes being made. I mean, it didn't look like it when they lined up, but we didn't get any time to see because they scored after, 19 seconds? Or was it even less?
It was instant. Like, as soon as they kicked off, it was 1-0.
From the first, yeah. And like, Pope was obviously asleep. And Chris, I'm going to come to you shortly about Nick Pope, but it didn't look like we were going to make any changes coming out of halftime in terms of the lineup. But it all happened so quickly, the game kind of flipped, and suddenly it was 1-1. And then it was 2-1. And then we're making changes. So for me, we were in a position where 1-0 up to actually take control or seize the initiative. It may be risky, but like we need to change the flow of this game because we've just spent 39 minutes on the back foot. Instead, we're suddenly 2-1 down, and then we're trying to react in a stadium that's suddenly buzzing, and the Marseille players are vibing off the crowd, and they're just having a great time. And Aubameyang's like, "I'm class," and he was. To be fair to him, he's 36 and he's fucking. He was a threat.
Look,
that's the
we've
word.
Lost the initiative. We've given away the initiative.
We were reactive, not proactive.
Yeah.
We reacted to the situation. We didn't try changing ourselves before the situation went tits up. Let's be honest.
When we were in a position to adapt and say, we're winning. We're now winning this game. We can feel the momentum shifting. They're starting to pin us back. We need to change something to change that. Otherwise, it's just going to continue. And it happened immediately. So it's really frustrating. And that's where I have concerns about. We've just seen this happening. There's, to predict the future, you have to look at the past. There's nothing to suggest we're going to do anything differently based on, how Eddie Howe manages his teams. But Christian,
there's we haven't scored a direct free kicks in 2022. Let's leave that there. We can't score anything from a corner. We can't do anything from corners. Okay, there's been a couple of good free kicks. Dan Burns' goal in the other game in the Champions League. Fair enough, I get it. But very poor again against Marseille. Not really winning any headers. Not doing anything with the corners. The first cross, the first corner in. Not even beating the first man. Whether it's Livramento, whether it's Tonali, no matter who it is, right? That's a major problem we have, right? Thirdly, just really quickly, and I don't want to spend 38 minutes on this, right? But Isak Thale is really showing itself coupled with the Wissa injury. I think if Isak stays, Elanga's a starter because that's the system that we wanted. A quick break, good link-up play, blow people away, defenders away before they even realise the ball's in the back of the net, right? So that didn't happen. We brought in Voltamade. He started well. Wissa's not back yet. I've got a feeling that when Wissa comes in and plays through the middle, which I think he will, they'll put Elanga on the right instead of Murphy. And then when we need to change it up and go for a bit of long ball and a little bit of a different kind of first ball in, we'll put on Murphy and Voltamade. It's a thing I wanted to bring up with you lads, that this Isak sale, right, even though Voltamade has had a bounce where he's had scored a couple of goals and stuff, has really, really, really affected the style of our play. And I just wanted to open it up just a little bit because we're not playing the same way, even though I think we're trying. Eddie Howe is trying to play the same way, kind of, that we did last year. We just, like Al said, we just don't have the players in certain positions. Voltamade, he's great getting the ball into him. He's great on the turn. There was a couple of chances against City. I think he did very well against City, and then against Marseille. we just don't have the breaking ability, and Gordon's not in good enough form to take his chances at the moment. He had a chance where he ran down the right wing in the first half against Marseille. He had Tino and Barnes on the left-hand side. He didn't get it across to him. He took a shot. He's not really in that good of a form to score from there. And
any striker in the world takes a shot there. If he doesn't shoot there, I give out, because you have to have confidence in yourself. And that's something look, a lot of people don't like that. I played up front all my life. If he doesn't shoot there, I give out that he doesn't shoot. Because if he makes a hands to the pass, you're going, why didn't he just have a shot? That was a rock and a hard play situation. He took the shot, it didn't go in. I don't mind. I will never give out to a player for having a shot.
I just wanted to sneak it in because I wanted to bring Gordon back up again, because I want to start on Al, and I want you to be the referee, Paul, because Gordon is dog shit, yeah, and confidence player. You know, he's putting in performances in the Champions League and this. Give me a break, all right? I know you've got points to come back to me, Al, but I'm only going to give how I feel about the guy, right? He gives the ball away. If he doesn't do something slightly good in the first 15 minutes, his head goes into his underpants and he just basically disappears. If he could go under the pitch and disappear, he would, because that's what he's been doing lately. He's disappearing, and he's not playing to this quality level that he does for England, and that once in a while that he does in the Champions League. He's a liability. He shouldn't be a starter. He should be on the bench, and he should basically lick his wounds and start to have a look at himself and see how he can fit better into the team. Now, I know you're going to come back at me here, but look, he's an England international. He's an attacking player. We don't really have the attacking options, Al, really. We think we do, but we don't, right? There's a lot being put on this fella, and I think he's not delivering. And I think we can all agree on that he's not delivering. But the one thing that's really bothering me is his attitude. Against Marseille, he disappeared. He disappeared, especially after that shot that got saved after 30-odd minutes. He did absolutely nothing. With his cool headband and his blinky, he did nothing, not a thing. And he's done that maybe 70% of the games this season, nothing at all. He could, and I know I'll give it back to you, Al, but Gordon needs to sit on the bench, and he needs to lick his wounds and think about what he can add to the team, because it's not just play on the left wing, do your normal Gordon thing. Do more Gordon. Do you know what I mean? Learn how to play with your left foot. Pick a better option. Take more. Do extra shooting practice. Do something, because he's not the player that I think as a saleable asset, we should be looking to sell him in the summer. Thanks a lot. Good luck. See you. Give us our money.
Right.
Alan?
Yeah, so I agree he shouldn't be starting at the minute. Harvey Barnes is our left winger at the minute. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And Gordon needs to win a spot back. So that's neither here nor there.
Right.
You know where I'm going to go with this. Dan Burn has been playing left back all season. Joe Linton is our left centre mid this season, and he's been one of our worst players. So Gordon has had to rely on a player who's not playing well behind him, and a player who's playing out of position behind him again, where he has to cover him as well. So he's having to cover for two other players. He's then had a bit of a stop-start season. He's been injured. He was suspended. Things haven't exactly gone very well for him this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's also not a striker. I think it's very obvious.
He is a winger playing up front. Don't get me wrong. He can do a job up front. He can do a job. He is not a striker. He is a winger by trade playing up top. You said that he did nothing. Who supplied him the ball to do something? It's the winger's job. It's the midfielder's job. The centre forward is the focal point. Yeah. If Gordon had dropped 60 yards to pick up the ball on the halfway line and tries to beat six men, you're giving out. What's he doing? He should be in the box. This is another rock and a hard play situation. We were looking for a scapegoat. You've picked Gordon for performances this season. I'm not saying you're wrong. Gordon has not been great this season. First, to hold my hands up and say it's not the levels that we've seen of him towards the end or towards the start and middle of last season. He hasn't been great towards the end and most of this season. Is there a player there? Absolutely. To say we're looking to sell him, crazy. Like you just said, sellable asset. He's realistically not, because we would need 80 million for him to be a sellable asset. Nobody pays that money for him at the minute. He's not in good enough form. to warrant an £80 million sale, especially when you've Antoine Semenyo available for 65 million, who plays in the exact same position as him and is an output monster. It's just not feasible.
The good news is, lads, you're both right. So we'll give you that. Like,
yes. Do I win something? No.
No, because you're going to lose again when the quiz comes around. So I think that with Gordon, I think, Krisha, you're right when you say we obviously do need to see more from him. And I think when, like, Alan is right in terms of he's so much better when Lewis Hall is behind him, as is Joe Linton, as is that whole side of the pitch, to be honest. And you get a lot more. But I do think it's hard to say where are we seeing Anthony Gordon take his performances into his own hands a bit more to see what is he doing differently, what is he trying differently. He is working back a lot more than I've seen him in the past, but I think that also comes back to the point of Dan Burn being there and not Lewis Hall, where Lewis Hall has the recovery pace and the ability to get up and down a lot more. But I think there is an element of what's Anthony Gordon doing about it himself, because we've not really seen anything different, even sparks of it. Do you know what I mean? We haven't even seen those moments of brilliance. And the flip side is, Harvey Barnes is in form, particularly from an output perspective, fully deserves to be in the team now, and Gordon should be on the bench. So I agree with both of you in that sense. God, there's so much.
Paul, who is the front three? Who is the front three against Everton? Like,
so this is. I mean, for me, like, this is my front three. And it's easier for me to say this because I'm sitting on a chair in Galway and I'm not the Newcastle United manager who's under pressure and having to have meetings. But for me, it's Voltemade, Barnes and Elanga, because I think that Jacob Murphy had a very poor game in the last game. And also I think that, again, Elanga gives you a bit more unpredictability for me. I think that your man, Mikalenko, the left back for Everton, like, he actually played really well against Man United. I was watching that game with my old man who's a Man United fan. Poor fella didn't have a good evening. But he's like a very natural left back that will want a player to just run at him directly. Whereas I think Elanga can cause a lot more trouble. And I think we need some difference makers in this team. And Harvey Barnes has done it when he's come into the side by scoring goals and creating issues. Nobody else is really doing it. And I think we need to start seeing can Elanga do that. And cameos off the bench when we're losing or playing shite is not the way for a player like Elanga to show what he can do.
No,
I think that and that there's that variety as well. Plus, Murphy probably needs a breather. Do you know, Murphy puts a lot of like running in his game is running and crossing, obviously. So I think he'll need a breather in that sense as well. So for me, it's Elanga, Voltemade. I'm not saying it's our best front three. I just think in this current circumstance, going into Everton away from home, Elanga, Voltemade, and Barnes for me. What isn't the answer is that back three again. I don't really love it. Like, it can work. Starting with it against Marseille, it clearly worked, but finishing with it, I mean, we kept it going for a while until we were losing the game. Whereas there was an opportunity to kind of switch things and get a bit more on the front foot. I think the good news about the Everton game is that we'll probably have Tino back at right back and Lewis Hall at left back, which allows Eddie to go with the 4-3-3. The one question I wanted to bring on to you, lads, with Everton in mind, or just in general, Alan, Jacob Ramsey came on again and looked very sharp, very good in the ball, great vision, knows what he's going to do before he gets the ball, takes on men, can give passes, won that free kick that Tonali just didn't strike very well. Like, I fully expect Joe Linton to start against Everton with Bruno and Tonali. But the big question I have here is, Willock starts that game. Miley also came on. Yeah. What does Jacob Ramsey have to do? Because I just mentioned that it's hard for Elanga to show how good he is coming off the bench. But for me, Jacob Ramsey has actually played pretty well and better than most of the other players on the pitch when he has come on. Yeah. And against Marseille, he showed that. What does Jacob Ramsey have to do for Eddie Howe to go, do you know what? I need to start this guy because he is that good, regardless of protecting the defence and blah, 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 like Joe Linton does.
He needs to get in contact with Dan Burn or Callum Wilson and ask for whatever photos they had of Eddie Howe. Get them. That's the only way you're getting into that squad for some reason. I don't understand it. I've been saying for months and months, when we're playing Man City, when we're playing Arsenal, we're playing Chelsea's and Liverpool's, Joe Linton 100% starts those games. When we're playing teams where we might need a little bit more creativity, absolutely needs to be. And absolutely needs to be Ramsey. But I've given out about Joe Willock for the last 2 seasons. He was probably our best player on the pitch against Marseille.
Oh, well.
He was. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like we didn't play well as a whole. If he wasn't, who was?
Che
Was he?
I think Willock came out of it
so,
looking
yeah.
well. Willock for me came out of it looking good because Willock found space to run into. But for me, that space existed primarily because we didn't have a right winger, and he was making runs down the right because there was space to run into. Like, no, we didn't have a player to give the ball to, and he has that pace and ability to carry the ball. But again, like, it kind of went nowhere at the same time. At least he was doing something, but it didn't fit because there was no one else to offload it to. We didn't, there was nobody else with him.
You guys are winding me up, right? This weird thing, right? You got
didn't watch the match.
I did watch the match, right? Yeah, he ran up and down. Good for him. Yeah, he made 1 or 2 passes, I think. Yeah, good for him. He's another one that shouldn't be in the team. It's astounding that he's.
I agree.
I 100% agree. But when a
Fully
player
agree.
plays well, you have to say, no, he done well. Out of our 3 midfielders, he was our best midfielder. Bruno was stinking. Tenali wasn't much better.
Tonali was decent in the first half, but his levels really dropped.
He was like, but that's it. Out of the 3 midfielders, Willock was the one that stood out. And I have agreed with you a million times when you've said, I'm sick of him. I wanted him gone last summer. You have to, when a player plays well, you absolutely have to say, do you know what? Fair is fair. I slate you when you're crap. I have to say, fair play. You played well. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not going around picking on the guy, right? But I mean, like, he shouldn't, like, he doesn't offer anything at all. He's got legs. Yeah, so do I. So do you.
But he did. He offered us an outlet on the right wing because the space was there. He was the only one doing it. It's all we had.
Well, look, he's gone to Crystal Palace in January, so good luck.
Fingers crossed. If we get 15, 20 million for him, it's absolutely a no-brainer to take that.
Ramsey should be starting, Paul. Full stop.
I do think Ramsey, and I do think another thing that's been on my mind a lot with Lewis Miley as well. Like, again, Lewis Miley is getting these cameos again when we're playing shit or when we're losing. And it's very hard to come in as a young kid in centre midfield to do anything differently. But we saw how good Miley was 2 seasons ago when we had no choice but to play him. And we then started to see, he was starting to get a couple of goals. I remember him scoring a really good goal against Fulham. He obviously had an injury. I think he did his back. But I look around the Premier League and I think that there's probably 14 other teams in the league that would be giving Miley a lot more minutes than we are. And again, this is not me saying, I should have Miley and Ramsey. How are you going to drop Bruno or Tonali? But this is where it comes back to using the players. We talked about this in the pod, was it last week, the week before? This isn't about we have a first 11 and then subs. This is about being smart with who you're playing and when during a game and then from game to game, and using your players to do things differently.
Is this what Eddie Howe's getting wrong? Is this what he's getting wrong?
It's hard for me to say Eddie Howe is getting something wrong, but for me, I can't help but feel like we're just seeing the same thing over and over in terms of the system and in terms of the personnel. And if he's not going to make drastic system changes, then you got to use the players you have to be that difference, to see that variety. And I just feel like we're not seeing it enough. Bringing in someone like Ramsey, you're going to risk space in midfield, right? In terms of, like, if you drop out Joe Linton, where Joe Linton closes certain players down and is a battering ram and does a lot of that good stuff. Bringing in Ramsey won't do as much of that. But the flip side is Ramsey's giving you a hell of a lot more options going forward, a lot more technique on the ball, can carry, can pass, has an eye for goal, scored loads of goals and got loads of assists for Aston Villa, playing as that kind of advanced 8, almost dropping into a number 10. It's a risk, but as it stands, our midfield is getting carved open. Even against, not even against the best teams in that we're playing, against multiple teams. So for me, I just think it's time to do things a bit differently, not for the sake of it, but to look at the opposition and go, right, we're not just going to play how we play. And if it works, great, we're going to win. Because when it doesn't work, clearly it doesn't work when we're away from home. That's where you're looking at Elanga, you're looking at Ramsey or Miley or whoever to try and make that difference. Last point then, lads. And I mean, I think we didn't really go into Nick Pope too much.
No, I'm a real boy. We're going to talk about him,
we'll talk about that because we're going to look ahead to the Everton game. But I guess for me, like the last point that I wanted to talk about was, I feel like things are getting a bit messy between Tonali and Bruno and who's playing where.
Mm-hmm.
So if we draw our minds to last season, we finally saw that clear official change that Tonali was going to play as a 6. Bruno can get further forward. Bruno ended up scoring 6 goals in 2 months or whatever it was. That looked lovely. That was working. It was some of Tonali's best football for the club. It was great to see Bruno actually in more advanced roles. Against City, he flipped it. And I think Eddie Howe did mention, he was asked about it and he said, we're targeting specific things. And I think a lot of it was that Tonali was doing a bit of work on Doku, in order to support Livramento. And it just gave Tonali a bit more freedom, whereas Bruno was sitting. But that carried into the Marseille game as well. Tonali was forward, Bruno was back. I don't know, Alan, have you noticed that? Do you think that's also part of this issue, that instead of having somebody who is our concrete 6 like Tonali, that they're taking turns again like they used to, and then suddenly we're seeing these holes, and especially when there's only 2 of them because we've changed the system?
Yes, 100%. You're absolutely right. We also are too rigid in our systems. We have a bank of 4, a bank of 3, and a bank of 3. The gaps in between our players is outrageous. Like you said it earlier, Mason Greenwood goes, I'm not just going to run directly at this back 5. I'm going to drop 15 yards in between the defence and the midfield. He put in a cross, I think it was after about 35 minutes, into Aubameyang. Aubameyang put the header wide. It was on a play for him.
Yeah, it
was 4 or 5 times Greenwood was just standing there, and I'm like, there's no one within 5 or 6 yards of him in a Champions League match that we needed to win. And it was just silly mistakes. And that's just where I've said it for 2 seasons. Neither Tonali or Bruno are out and out number 6s. I'm talking about a Claude Makelele here who's just going to run around kicking people, get the ball to his feet and pass it 3 yards to someone who can actually play football. That's what we need. We need a...
Could Joe Linton do that? Could Joe Linton do that?
No. Joe Linton can't tackle. Like, Joe Linton is a brute, a workhorse, a bully. He's not a tackler. He cannot tackle a man. See,
there's a big level of discipline and positioning and all that kind of thing. You're right to say Tonali isn't, but Tonali did it a lot last season.
He did.
We lose certain things from Tonali's game because Tonali's heat map is ridiculous at the best of times anyway. And if you're saying to Tonali, look, you need to play as a 6 because we need that in the system to stop the midfield being carved open, protect the defense, etc. It'll work. We will lose certain things in Tonali's game. He can score, he can get forward. He doesn't get loads of assists, but he's actually responsible for a lot of the play that leads to goals.
Yeah.
It's often like the pass before the assist,
pre-assist,
and so on. Yeah, pre-assist or whatever. The assisting the assister, assistant to the assister. I do think you sacrificed a little bit of that, but we gained a lot from that last season when we were having issues with it. And I'm just wondering, I'm struggling to understand how that's kind of evolved. It's almost like, okay, we did that, we sorted that issue out. Now let's try and do something different again. But it has actually caused us problems as well.
We should go back to 4-4-2 and put Whistler and Voltamade up front. Yeah, 4-4-2.
Right, we're going to take a quick break because I have a headache from thinking of all of these things. And when we come back, let's take a little look forward, lads, to Everton away on Saturday. The Irish Mag Show is proudly sponsored by The Half Volley and FSH Training Limited. The Half Volley provide high-quality, customizable clothing and merchandise catering for all sports teams, businesses, social clubs and events, including, of course, the Irish Mags, with a new range available over on their website, thehalfvolley.com. FSH Training Limited offer a wide variety of training across the fields of fire safety, first aid and manual handling. All of their trainers are frontline emergency service workers with extensive instructing experience, ensuring realistic, professional training. All of their course options and details are available on their website, fshtraining.ie. Welcome back to the Irish Mags Show. We've gotten the negativity out of our system.
We didn't talk about Pope. We didn't talk about what the hell.
We've got 95% of the negativity.
I have this much to say about Pope. This much.
Christian got sacked from work today because he was writing about Pope all day.
Just drinking red wine, furiously writing about Pope.
Everybody in work is wondering why there's no white smoke coming out of the Vatican because Christian keeps going on about Pope. Anyway, we're going to talk about Everton, and we might as well get to it because the big question on everyone's mind, and as I said at the top of the show, what's going around social media is doesn't matter what Pope did, doesn't matter what Byrne has done, doesn't matter Joe Linton. It's just we're just going to see the same against Everton away from home on Saturday. Chris, show time to shine, I suppose.
Yes.
But more importantly, everybody out there probably expects or is calling for Ramsdale now to start in goal. Alan made the point. Pope has made a lot of mistakes in the last few weeks and months in games that we've lost. And Ramsdale has looked good in the cameos or in the rare games that he's played. I assume you're in that camp, but like realistically, do you actually think you might see Ramsdale's name at the top of that team sheet?
No, I do not. And I think it's got a lot again with Ramsey not getting his game and certain decisions that Eddie Howe is making. There's certain players that nearly his Newcastle career is dependent on. It's Pope, Byrne, Joe Linton, Bruno, Jacob Murphy.
Murphy.
Guys that he really sticks with and he can trust, and he's put them in lots of different situations and they've always done well for him. Look, it would be a little bit difficult. I know I go on about Pinocchio Pope, but he can't kick the ball and yada, right? But like Al said, up against West Ham, Pope error. Up against Brentford, Pope error. Up against Marseille, Pope error. That's 9 points, 6 in the league and 3 in the Champions League, where we would have been joint 4th in the Champions League. Coasting, frankly. Beat PSV at home, we're coasting, right? He's putting us in precarious situations, not only financially, but just in relation to the club, right? And when what age is he now? Is he 32 or something like that? Is he?
He's older than that.
Is he older now?
Yeah.
I would have thought he's older, yeah. I mean,
when he did it, I was dreaming about Dubravka. I was thinking, God, he's playing well for Burnley. Jesus Christ.
No,
I know.
We already did this.
No, I know, right? But look.
Dubravka should have been called Dracula. The bloke was terrified of crosses.
No, look, Pope is he's done fantastic things for us. He's been a great servant to the club, and I hate saying this, but enough's enough. He's not the starting goalkeeper anymore. He's making unusual decisions. The punching, his kicking. Some people say it's improved. I don't. Kind of think it has a little bit, but his decision making lately has been astoundingly poor, and it's not good enough. Because there was a question raised. I don't know whether we talked about it on the group, lads, or I saw it somewhere, but I think we talked about it. There's not one Premier League football team that would have Pope as their starting goalkeeper. Possibly, well, maybe there is. Maybe there's
Leeds would.
Leeds, maybe, yeah, because Leeds wanted him, right?
I'd go a hell of a lot further. I'd say most teams in the bottom half of the Premier League have him as their number one.
Oh, well, all right, okay. We'll agree to disagree like we always do. But look, he's not good enough for where we're going, the ambitions we have, and the team we're building. And I really, really believe that if Eddie Howe sticks with this and it stays and we're 13th, 14th coming into January, February, and it's still Pope. Look at these. I said this to you before. These Saudi Arabian fellas are ruthless. They're ruthless businessmen. And if Pope has to go, or Howe has to go, or anyone has to go in that club, trust me, lads, they will go. And everyone can grumble about it all they like, but they'll be gone. And we'll have a brand new European manager replacement who they've always wanted, and he's the glittering new manager. And here's our new goalkeeper. And everyone just might as well get on the bandwagon and on the truck and roll with it. These performances lately should have cost. Like I said with Gordon, Pope should be on the bench. Gordon should be on the bench. They need they need some introspection, some self-reflection, because Pope clearly must know that the fan base, his teammates, more importantly, not the fan base, but his teammates are losing trust in him, because that was an absolutely shocking decision in a game like that. I've never seen it.
You could see it with Malik Chow as well. Malik Chow actually was like, "Wait, what are you doing? Don't!" And it just all happened too quick. Outrageous.
There was no danger. There was no need for him to be where
he was driving him away from the goal, right? Chow had him.
Chow has the recovery base as well. Yeah, it's a crazy decision. I don't know if it's just because it's literally second half and maybe he just wasn't awake, but there's no excuse for that. And
that's arguably
for
worse.
me, like I think it's worse, and also Eddie Howe, like we've said this in the past, like it takes a lot for Eddie Howe to drop a player. I think he needs to start making some bold moves and big statements here.
Yeah.
You know, you normally it's a case that a player needs to be injured for Eddie Howe to actually bring someone in. You know, Chow only got in because Fabian Schär had concussion, and now Chow is like first name of the team sheet almost in terms of current form. Like it took him a long time to drop Sean Longstaff to bring in Tonali, and look what that changed. So I think now is the time for Eddie Howe to really show that he has that. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just to be a bollocks, you know, to a bit more.
He's
kind
picking
of like
players. He's not picking
ruthless
players.
is the word. Yeah,
He's not picking players on form. He's picking players on who he's trusted before in his last couple of years as the manager. He's not picking them on form, because if he was picking them on form, Ramsey would be playing. Ramsdale would be in goal. Like,
yeah, I agree. And the worst thing is that, Alan, I couldn't get the word ruthless out of my head. It was stuck up to somewhere. We recorded an episode, and it's easily 100 episodes ago with Alex from True Faith, and he was using that word because I remember we put it in the title of the podcast. We need to be more ruthless, and here we are, a year, 18, whatever it is later, and we're in a similar position, and that's what needs to change.
That's why Eddie Howe might lose his job, gentlemen, because he's not ruthless enough.
I think if he keeps going down the way he's going, we're sick hearing about he has credit in the bank. There's only so much credit you can have in the bank before it runs out and you're in serious bother.
Look at the Liverpool manager, guys. I mean, the way things are going, winning a league isn't.
Klopp's just waiting to sign off in Christmas and come back over.
I don't think Klopp will come back, but all right. But no, genuinely, I think Eddie Howe will have been told, you cost us £2 million by losing that game to Marseille. With how precarious our financial position is, you have to cop on. I think he will have been told. And I do think this Saturday against Everton, we're going to see a couple of changes. You are saying that you're going to say, I think we're going to see 4 or 5 changes this week. To the point
well, let's go with it. Let's go with it, Alan. What do you think the lineup is against Everton before we do predictions?
Ramsdale and goal.
Ooh.
Tino and Hall fullbacks. Shaw and Botman centre halves. I think we're going to see Bruno, Ramsey, and Miley in the middle. I think we're going to see Elanga, Barnes, and Voltemata up top.
I mean, it doesn't. There's nothing wrong with that lineup. I mean, obviously, look, my mind will always go, but Sandro, because I just fucking love.
He
Sandro
needs a rest.
He
100%.
needs a rest.
Sandro, he needs a rest, and I don't want to say, we need to start going right. He's played 180 minutes out of the last 180 minutes of football. We need to give him 5-10. Even if he comes on for the last half an hour, he will be full of beans and ready to go. Like, so that's exactly what you want. I do think we'll see a couple of changes this week.
Is Wissa available? Not yet. No,
he won't be available until the Sunderland game, according to reports today.
Wissa to become the new Mackham Slayer. Get it on, please. Back in trading, so hopefully, and I think the thing about Wissa is, in the past we see Eddie Howe take his time bringing players in. I just don't think he's going to have that luxury with Wissa. If Wissa gets up to any bit of fitness, he's going to need to be playing Wissa. But
do you honestly believe? Like, I'm sorry, I'm just really quick. Do you honestly think that the club just pushed through the Elanga purchase and Eddie Howe kind of was like, well,
no, I think Eddie Howe wanted Elanga for 2 years. We tried to get him on the last day of that other window as well. Was it a January window?
Yeah.
So just explain to me then why he's not in the team. Just really quickly, like why he's not.
Because we are not playing well as a team, and he is not playing well as well. And he is dealing with the consequences of that. I've said this several times on this podcast. If he scored that goal against Aston Villa on the first day of the season, we have a different Anthony Elanga playing for us right now.
And also, like Murphy has, to be fair to Murphy, when Voltemade was on that little run of scoring goals, Murphy's getting assists. He scored a couple of goals, and Eddie Howe's inclined to reward that because he likes rewarding his players that have been there those last couple of years.
But you have to reward players who are doing well, and Murphy has been doing well. So,
but at the same time, we're only in November. There's plenty of time for Elanga to be a big player for us this season, and it's up to Eddie Howe to obviously do it on the training pitch with the player, manage the player, but he needs to play him. As far as I'm concerned, we need to start giving this player proper minutes to go and show what he can do and actually build up his confidence, his gelling with the team, and seeing what he can do. But
Paul, what's your 11 then, Paul? So Al's got Ramsdale and goal.
my 11 is the same as Alan's, but I would suspect Tonali instead of Miley. But again, this is what I would pick. But like, I don't think he'll do either. I think he'll start Bruno, Tonali, and Joe Linton. It's just Eddie Howe has given me nothing to believe he won't do that again.
Yeah, I can't see him putting Ramsdale in either, because I think it will draw attention to the fact of what happened with Pope, and it'll create some kind of news story that Eddie Howe just doesn't want to do.
And we need to get past that.
Attention to it.
I mean, he said he's saved us on many occasions.
He has.
He's made a mistake. He's made a mistake.
The problem is, lads, here's where I am with this. It's almost like I can't really speak from too much experience. I'm only a young fellow, but it's like coming out of a bad relationship, but and then you suddenly start thinking about it and you only remember the good times. Yeah. Yes, Pope has made some unbelievable saves, and you can start to look back to highlight reels and moments where he actually has kept us in games and made massive saves. But then you're forgetting about all the mistakes. And if he continues to just stick with Pope regardless, and if Pope makes another mistake and he keeps going, that's a very tricky path to follow. And I think that the solution is, right, Nick Pope, actually, if I'm going to take you out of the team, to take you out of the spotlight and let you go and just, have some breathing space after mistakes, because he'll be no stranger to the fact that everyone's talking about him. And I think he'd be doing Pope a favor to actually take him out of the team rather than leave him in there so as not to make a fuss.
You see, just on goalkeeping, you see that poor Trafford fella, God bless him, he looks like a shadow for himself. When he's
you know what? Yeah. There's a lot to be said for some of those moves. Some of the players that we went after, who's like, I mean, fair enough, Delap scored during the week, but Delap's move to Chelsea hasn't been a big success for him. Shesko hasn't been great at Man United. There's the grass isn't always greener, but
agents need to
Trafford's a good player.
Agents need to be fucked out of football. Agents need to start telling
that's
players,
for another day. Go
for footballing reasons. Don't mind the money. The money will follow you if you're good enough.
Look at Isak. Isak's a total shadow of his former self. Like, he nearly got booed off the other day. He didn't even touch the ball. He didn't actually touch the ball.
Just hook it to my veins.
Fuck him.
Fuck them. Right, lads, shall we do a quiz before we wrap up and talk about meetups at the weekend? Actually, do you know what? Very quickly, meetups for the Everton game. Alan Williamson, we have 2 meetups taking place on Saturday.
We do indeed. So we always have a regular meetup in the Bleecker Street Bar in Dorset Street in Dublin. So if you're in and around Dublin, obviously come and join us. We always love having randomers and lunatics in with us. A new venue we have is in County Clare. So it's Patrick's Bar in County Clare, Ennis, on the Clonard Beg Road. So that's V95C856 is the air code for that. So the lads have set this up. It's been in the pipeline for the last couple of weeks. So if you're in and around Ennis, get yourself on down to Patrick's Bar. It's going to be a great old time. I don't think I've sent them their flag yet, but that's my fault. It's actually sitting behind me over my shoulder here. I just haven't bothered sending it yet because I'm thick.
I have one in Galway that I could potentially. I'm not around on Saturday to go down to Ennis, but I might be able to get them the one I have here in Galway. So we'll talk about that.
And big shout out to the lads in Kildare because they had their
another new venue.
They did. The Kildare venue wasn't massively attended, shall we say, but they had a couple of lads there, and it was a good old night. Baby steps. That's it. Come here. As we say, we started with 7 lads in where were we? Camden. When Tev booked it for 50 people. Hilarious. 7 lads showed up. Yeah, job show. So
standard.
That's
slanders.
Good stuff. There's the meetups for the weekend. So great to have these new venues as well, as we're slowly ticking off every county in terms of having a meetup in almost every county. So if anyone's listening out there in any of the counties that we don't mention, have a think about arranging a meetup, get in touch, and we back you. And Alan, of course, will get the flags in the post. Right, let's finish with a quiz, lads. I have a list in front of me of 15 players who have played for both Newcastle and Everton. Now, I don't think you'll get all 15. I'd be very impressed if you did. I think you'll get 10. You might get 12. So we'll go between you, lads. And Krisho, because it's you, we'll let you go first.
Can
have
Al go
players who
first?
played for.
Can Al go first? Because I'm like,
Right, Alan, you can go first just to get the wheels in Chris Shaw's brain spinning.
Sylvain Distan.
Sylvain Distan is correct. Did a season at Newcastle and 5 seasons.
Chris Shaw's looking there going, who's he?
Yeah, no, I remember he's playing for Man City as well.
That's a Distan memory for Chris Shaw.
Hey.
Ew. No, like there was a couple of periods of time, lads, where I didn't really keep an eye on Newcastle because they were dog shit. Right, Everton.
You wouldn't
That's
expect
really
to be stuck this early, Alan, would you?
Yeah, this is poor.
Yeah, this is poor. You totally caught me by surprise with this.
Shall we? I'll give him one clue just to get his brains going, because there is a player who is not only in the current side, but we've also talked about him.
Yeah, we've been giving out of them on like. I actually mentioned the team that he
signed him from Everton, Chris Shaw.
Oh no! Well, yeah, Joe Linton. No, Anthony Gordon.
Anthony Gordon. Well done, Chris Shaw. Great
yeah,
shout. That is, of course, correct.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
You're doing great, Alan.
Gary Speed.
Gary Speed is correct.
RIP.
Actually, is it today on the day of recording?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, the anniversary of his death. What a legend indeed. That is correct, Chris Shaw.
What?
Were you done after Anthony Gordon? Is that
Paul Gascoigne. Boom.
Paul Gascoigne is incorrect.
What? He played for Newcastle and he played for Everton.
Premier League.
What?
Premier League. We always do Premier League.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't realize we had rules.
Only for 103 episodes.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'll give you half a point for effort.
Yeah, half a point. Woohoo!
I'll go rogue. Okay. Alessandro Pistone.
Alessandro Pistone is correct.
Dreadful
2 seasons at Newcastle in '97 and 4 seasons, if not 5, at Everton up to 2005.
I know one. Big Dunk.
Big Dunk indeed.
Big Duncan Ferguson is correct. He spent a season at Newcastle in 1998 and, of course, 11 seasons at Everton. Because he went back to them. Sorry.
Did he go back from us? He did, right?
I think he did.
Yeah, he went straight back to them. He only did it. Yeah, straight back to them. And we
played 33 games for us in the 98-99 season, but his Everton career was between 94 and 2005. So I'm fairly sure he went back to them after us. And didn't knock out Ruud Gullit like he wanted to. Alan?
No. Dan Gosling.
That is a big shout now. I don't think I would have guessed that this early in the quiz myself, but it is correct.
Really?
He did a season at Everton and 3 seasons.
Did he not come through the ranks at Everton?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Who? Dan
Gosling.
He was a good player.
Good player to stretch.
Yeah, no, he was good.
We were dreadful when he played for us, so he stood out.
Yes, yeah. He did a job. A job. Chris Shaw, any more in that brain of yours?
Yeah. One of my favorite players of all time, Steve Watson.
Steve Watson is a great shout because it is correct. He was at Newcastle from 92 to 98 and Everton 2000 to 2004. Alan.
Salomon Rondon
is correct. 2018, the season at Newcastle for 12 goals.
Yeah, both
and
seasons.
21-22 at Everton. Great show.
Andros Townsend.
That's a show. He was one of my
Andros
last
Townsend is correct. Did a season at both clubs. Point for Chris Shaw.
Yes, he did. We should have.
This is where I'm running out of players now. I'm 90% sure this man played for Everton. I'm 100% sure he played for us. It's Christian Atsu.
Christian Atsu, another one we have to say RIP for. Yeah. It is correct. He spent 4 years at Newcastle and prior to that had a season at Everton. I think he was on loan.
He was on loan from Chelsea. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Good old Christian Atsu. Right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players left on the list. I'm going to start opening it up and I'll start calling out some clues.
Please do.
Unless Chris has an answer to give.
Right. I think I have one more.
Louis Saha.
That's
Louis
a great
Saha
show.
Is correct.
Great show.
3 seasons at Everton and a season prior to that, 10 years prior with Newcastle, would you believe?
Yes. Do I win? No.
No.
Did Ginola play for Everton?
Who?
So
Ginola.
that would have been a clue.
What?
Sticking with the Frenchman, David Ginola.
Yeah, he
With
went from
Newcastle from
Spurs to
95.
Everton, didn't he?
He certainly
Did he?
did. He was at Newcastle for 95, 96 seasons and Everton in 2001. Great shout.
Hello. What? Did he
Yeah.
play? Did he play a lot with Everton?
No, I think it was
One
a
season
Everton
he
only
was
season.
there and he played 5 games in the 2001 season.
5 games. Jesus, I did not know Ginola played for Everton. Christ.
Right, lads, you've got 3 names on this list. I'll be impressed. Now, I'll give you one clue.
Okay.
There is a player who hasn't actually played for Newcastle, has played 1 game for Everton, but is currently on the books at Newcastle and is a goalkeeper.
John Ruddy. Yeah. Is it?
John Ruddy is correct.
What? Pajama
John
man?
Ruddy played 1 game, didn't even play the whole game for Everton in 2005, only 20 years ago, lads.
Jesus
Respect on John Ruddy's name.
Jesus. Wow.
Next up, and this
I
is one
do
surprised
one
nobody's
other
got
one.
yet.
But I think I don't know if he played for them in the Premier League, so I'm gonna go for it. Is it
Go
Mr.
for it.
Beardsley?
Peter Beardsley is correct. Was with Everton in the 92 season and then at Newcastle from 93 to 1996. So it gets you a point. Now, lads, there's one name left on this list, and I will be very impressed if you get this. It's a player I have heard of, but it is bringing it back. The nationality of this player I'm going to give you is Swiss.
Okay. Where did he play on the pitch, Paul?
On the pitch, he was a defender. I think
Okay.
he was primarily a fullback or right back, but definitely a defender. Played for Newcastle between 1994 and 1996 before moving to Everton for a season.
No, nothing. Haven't a clue.
And the only other thing I can really give you about this chap was he did have quite a relatively decent head of hair at him while he was at Newcastle.
Swiss.
He was the original Fabian Schär. I'm gonna put you out of your misery, folks. Listeners, if you knew the answer, make sure you drop it into the comments on Spotify or YouTube. The answer is, of course, Mark Hottiger. Mark Hottiger, ring any bell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite players. Actually, he
The
was
one
really,
that got
really
away.
good.
Yeah.
The
Flash
one
up. I can hear. Flash up a picture here. I think I remember this guy. Was he
You'd
not
have to
the
look him
original
up there.
number
We
12?
might put it up on screen. But
Wow.
Mark Hottiger is
What
the
a
final
player.
player on the list. You
Never
did well,
heard.
lads. You got through most of them now, in fairness to you. But Alan Williamson is the winner, Chris Shaw. I'm afraid to break it to
Is
you.
he?
But then again,
Yes, you got a half a point. I win.
he's right. And on that
Right.
note, that brings episode 103 of the Irish Mag Show to a close. Check out all of our socials and theirishmags.com. All the links are below in the description to get all the latest updates, news updates. Latest photographs are already published of recent travels and meetups, including the meetup that was just held in Kildare. And
I need to send you an awful lot of photos.
Yeah.
Alan needs to send me an awful lot of photos.
Yes.
Alan, we've talked about the photos that you send me, and you know the ones I don't want, so please, no.
The meetup
Make sure
photos,
you're
yeah.
liking and
Yes.
following and subscribing everywhere you go. We will be back for more Irish Magnus next week after the Tottenham game, so we'll have 2 games to discuss. So until then, thank you, Alan. Thank you, Chris Show. Thank you, listeners and viewers. How are
Thank
the
you,
lads?
Paul.
Long fall.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Do you know what? Thank
No,
you.
Wally.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank me again. Thank God for me.